Let's go.
We're out here doing it.
We're doing the damn thing. Whether or not that is exactly ARP or the mountain behind it, it's close. And that is definitely Michelle Lackey in that picture. So, dude, how are you today?
I'm I'm having a Monday. It's a Monday, but that's all right.
You got a
We're
fresh lineup, though.
oh yeah. The wife cut my hair on Saturday.
Man,
Does
look
a
at
dang
that.
good job every time.
We're
And
back, baby. The most handsome podcast is back.
yeah, when it only lasts a couple days, so got to show it off while it lasts.
See, I usually have to grow into mine. Like I don't like it the first day I get it cut, but like day 6, day 7, that's when it really comes into its prime.
well, that's what hats are for, huh? I wear a hat 90% of my life, so the
Me too. I'm sporting a new one this week. Western
Dang,
Colorado Dragway. My boy Chris Northup hooked it up. Funny car, Chris.
look at
Sent
that.
out a little care package. I already dirtied up my Theobald hoodie yesterday, so it's in the wash. But thanks for that, brother. Those are slick.
Oh heck yeah, I gotta give it to the people that give back too. So
That's right.
uh looks like this week we're presented by Nike up on your shoulder. We're presented by them.
Hey, that's the backpack of my 4-time back to back to back to back state championship cheerleading oldest daughter, Lucy. They came in second last weekend. She was going for the 5-peat, and they came up just short. But and she graduates into like a whole new league next year at high school. So it was kind of the grand finale for cheer. But that was a lot of fun, and they decked him out with all the sweet gear, and my checkbook can attest to that because man, there is no more expensive sport that you can get your kids involved in than cheer or dance. Holy smokes.
Ain't that the truth? It's
Unbelievable.
go 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 all the time, ain't it? But
I mean, we're selling cookies and cinnamon rolls and anything you can sell. The new fundraiser every week, man. It was pretty soon we just started stroking checks like how much do you need to raise? Because we were like Bernie Sanders, man. Like that meme you posted, it was like we are once again asking for your financial support, and like we hadn't even got the check from whatever they bought from us the week before, and it's like it got to the point where we're just like, how much do you need? We're not going to keep doing this.
your neighbors and your close family has had enough chocolates and
Oh yeah, all
fundraisers.
kinds of dumb stuff. Like it was just ridiculous. So yeah, I'm
Well,
glad she's getting into the school system because they don't do that once she's in the school team. So
heck of a run by your daughter and her whole entire cheer team. But
yeah, man.
speaking of runs, Troy in Oregon is starting to predict the future. Dylan Howe down in Las Vegas, brand new dragster and already bringing home some trophies. So, how do you feel about that?
Hey man, I feel great about it. Right? It tracks perfectly. I'm not surprised. You know, I've been talking to him. He was down there. He had been testing it. He was right back down there testing his Copo and some other cars. And he told me that Dragster was ready, man. And like I told you, he'd been putting a lot of work in the off season, really, really focused. And I don't know how many rounds he went, but he went all of them and parked it in the winter circle. So not surprised at all. Great way for him to kick the season off. So super stoked for Dylan. And dude, I mean, here we go. The world champ.
Another podcast bump goes to our man Henry G. He went down to Bakersfield, racked it in for I think it was 1.5K, dog.
I saw a couple hundred. I had to zoom in because I saw some Twinskies on top, but he fanned them out real big, and I was like, that's just a bunch of Twinskies. That's only like $200.
Oh,
But
it was 1.95K.
oh, he must be listening. He's hot on you, huh? Uh, yeah. I looked. I had to zoom in. I saw some Benjis on the bottom there. So really impressive by Henry. We talk all the time. We just got done texting a minute ago, and he built that motor in his garage, right? And so moved it to a new kind of stage of his game where no longer pulling junkyard 5.0s out of other Fox bodies and F-150s. Built himself a purpose-built 427 stroker small block Ford, and that thing is nasty. I think he's clicking it around $8,000 through the finish line, and running good. He's driving good. Saw him hitting those lights real hard, and minus that 41. I think he went 41 or something at one point, but but he still found a way to get it done. And great way for him to kick off the season, man. Another one of the best to do it out here on the West Coast, and he's picking right up where he left off last year. So looking for big things this year out of him.
Absolutely. Well, that's kind of it for highlights, updates.
Hey, not a bracket racing thing, but we like to talk about Nikes, and we like Jordan. Jordan got the three-peat, baby.
Already.
Three-peated him.
First 3 races of the season.
Let's go, man. Another reason why he's the GOAT. Just doing GOAT things. He sued NASCAR, and now look at him. Right, just unstoppable. So super stoked for MJ and the 23XL team.
He's trying to get that ring in something other than basketball.
Yeah, buddy. No, love it. Love it.
Well, let's bring our guest on, Miss Michelle.
Let's do it.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Michelle. How's it going up in Alaska?
It's a little chilly, but thanks for having me on your show today.
You are very welcome. Thank you for making some time for us. This is I'm stoked for every show, but this is a week that we've been talking about this for quite some time, long before I ever reached out to you. We knew we had to get you on here. This is a track that is literally on everybody's bucket list. Most of us know nothing about it. We just know about that sweet mountain, and we know there's a track up there. And so everyone wants to go. So super stoked to have you take some time. What'd you say pre-show 22 below last night up there?
Yeah, this morning when I got up to take my son to school, it was 22 below. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Unreal.
But it's warmed up to like 12.
Unbelievable.
She's starting to break a sweat. It's 12 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
I know, right?
Too hot.
Hot day right now.
Well, yeah, again, just really appreciate it. I know you're a busy gal, and not quite probably getting into the full preseason swing yet, but I know you've been traveling. I know you went to PRI. I think you were down at Daytona, so clearly keeping yourself busy. And yeah, thanks for making some time for us today.
Absolutely.
Why don't we get right into it, Troy?
Let's go.
Go ahead. If
go ahead,
people do not know, Miss Michelle here is the track manager of Alaska Raceway Park. I think that's pretty awesome title to have, especially of a track of this nature. What is how did you get involved with motorsports and ARP in general?
Well, a cooler title than manager is owner, so there's that. That is me too. So,
look at her flexing on him, Parker. Look at her flexing on him.
But so we got started out here at the Raceway with my older brother Jimmy. Used to race way back in the day. He found the racetrack in the 80s when he was in high school, and so of course drag racing's a family affair. So we all ended up coming out here. Jim was racing. My dad was pit crew. I ended up racing when I turned 16 and got my license. My brothers all raced. And then fast forward to like the late 90s, mid 90s, there was a group of racers that bought the racetrack from the original owners. Alaska Raceway Park was started in 1964, and they've been doing it for 30 years, and they were about ready to be done. So they sold it to a group of racers that got my parents involved. And then in 1998, my parents took over from everybody else, and so they were the sole owners. At that time, I had my daughter, so I was pulled from racing and got put in the tower. And then I've pretty much been working here ever since, kind of off and on throughout the years. I did take some time and win a championship on my snow machine drag racing in 2009. Moved to Fairbanks for a little while, and then in 2016, we opened our NASCAR track. And so when we opened that, Dad was like, okay, I'm going to build this. They were in their 70s. Dad was 75 when he built the circle track. And he said, I'm going to build this, but you're going to run it. And I was like, okay, well, it can't be that hard, right? I grew up at the drag strip, circle track, whatever. It's definitely different. And it took me a while to learn it, but we're in our 10th season now. And things are cruising right along, and I've been steadily taking over ownership from my parents since 2016. And 2026, I am 100% owner of this amazing facility.
That's super awesome. I got 2 follow-ups there. I want to know,
Okay.
I grew up at Firebird Raceway in Boise, Idaho. I grew up like 6 miles.
The original Firebird.
The only. Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
about that other place. But they can call it whatever they want. But there's only one Firebird Raceway, and it's in Idaho. And right next to it is a place that used to be called the Super Oval, and eventually Chaparral Speedway, 3/8 mile, high bank NASCAR Northwest type track. So love that stuff too. How big is the circle track at ARP?
It is a 3rd mile on the inside line.
Okay. And what, pretty low banked, right? From what I can tell, or does it get pretty good in the corners?
It's 6, 8, and 10.
Okay. It looks like a sweet track. Another amazing backdrop, of course. So I want to build on your last answer, right? Not just the manager, the owner, really a steward of this sport up in your state, right? And an advocate and for the people who race at your facility, and you're also a woman, and so not many lady track owners and managers. My home track happens to be owned by a lady, Sherry Severance, and run by her.
Yep.
I have been to tracks that are lady owned and managed, but it's pretty rare across the landscape. What does that mean to you to be a female in this sport, and to play the role that you play up at Alaska Raceway Park?
Well, it has, it's definitely had its challenges. I mean, I grew up at the drag strip, so I had a lot of connection with the racers. So stepping into the management role here wasn't as hard as over at the oval track. You know, my dad built the track with one of the drivers over there who's got a construction company, you know, so that he built the track. We got it going. My first oval track race was opening day at our track. And so I didn't really know anything. Everybody knew that I didn't know anything. And so I had to spend a lot of the first couple of years trying to prove myself to everyone. And even now, not just like here at the track, but on a more nationwide level, I feel like I still have to, I don't know if it's like overcompensate, but I feel like I have to work a little bit harder to make sure that people take me seriously. Like I actually do know what I'm doing here. I do track prep. I do, you know, the maintenance. I clean the bathrooms. I do the ticketing. I do, you know, if there's a job that's out here, I have done it. I have raced at both tracks. I've raced a multitude of other things. So I have experience on both sides of the coin, I guess. But I feel like I have to work pretty hard to make sure that people, I don't know what the word is, just to make sure that I'm credible, I guess. And so I've been trying to connect with other women, you know, like I know Sherry, we go to the D6 meetings, and so I've known Sherry for a while. But it's nice to have that connection with other ladies that are doing this. And there aren't very many of us across the globe, really. There's not a whole lot of women in the management and ownership roles. And so it's exciting to be kind of on this new frontier, but we definitely got to work for it.
Well, I think it's super cool, and you know, one of a few women leaving your mark, right? And I was thinking about how we've got all these men in this sport, but some of the biggest legends, some of the biggest stars are women. And I think that's pretty cool. And, you know, I don't want to beat that horse too much, because I think if you talk about it too much, then it gives credence to like, oh, you're different, or it's a different thing. You're obviously hitting with the big boys, and I love it. So, as you've went through that process, obviously, I've heard the vibe at that track, the culture there is so much different than really anywhere else. So maybe like talk about that a little bit. Talk about who your core customer base is, what racing is all about for them, and what keeps them coming back to ARP.
Well, I mean, nobody in racing really gets super rich as a racer. Like, you do it because you have a passion for it, and because you love, you know, I love going fast, but I don't get to do that a whole lot anymore. But, you know, it's especially true up here. It is very expensive to race in Alaska. We have a lot of logistical issues. I mean, cars either have to come from the lower 48 and get shipped up here, or they have to be built, and that takes a while because there are not a ton of fabricators here that are capable of building stuff like that. We have an amazing group of people who are very passionate about what they do. We have some of the pro mods and the guys that are running our top eliminator class, like, they're amazing vehicles for the 10 race season that we have, and these guys are out here doing it. They're here every weekend. They're supporting the track. They're, they come out on Thursday and hang out all weekend because this is our home in the summertime. This is our family. And a lot of us have, a lot of the racers that are here have seen me grow up over the years. They've seen my kids grow up. I've seen the junior dragster drivers turn into, regular drivers, and now their kids are driving. And it's just really cool to have all of these generations here. And we're all here because we love motorsports so much. And if the fans and the racers and our employees and sponsors and everybody wasn't supporting the track and we imploded, all of these people would have nowhere to go. There is no other drag strip in Alaska. And so we all have this ecosystem where we all kind of rely on each other, and I provide the place for people to come and have a good time on the weekends. And it's my job to make sure that it's safe and it's fair and that it is sustainable. And it's sometimes a little bit heavy. I try not to think about it like that, but it's a lot of responsibility, but I feel like it's something that I need to do so that we can continue to have motorsports in Alaska, because building another track isn't really an option unless, I don't know, you got to win a big lottery.
You'd have to win a big one. I was talking to former division director Matt Lavonis, and he's the one who's telling me, he's like, man, the vibe is he's like, it's a big barbecue and a drag race breaks out every once in a while. And he was talking about that, the supply chain issues, there's not a million race car fabricators. There's not a ton of speed shops. Look at that, spreading gold dust. Look at the track prep machine. Look at that hot rod.
Yeah.
And he said some of the ingenuity on some of these vehicles, because people just got to figure it out and just build something, right? Because you can't just buy a part or can't do that. He was talking to me about the ingenuity of some of the racers and some of the vehicles. Said pretty amazing to walk around and check out the cars in the pits at ARP.
Yeah, and it's such a big community. If somebody breaks in the pits, everybody is kind of hustling to kind of help get that person back together, because nobody wants to lose like that. I mean, everybody wants to win, but you don't want to lose because somebody can't make it to the line. And we're a small community, so everybody is out there kind of helping each other. And once the visor goes down, it's game over. But after you get back and you pick up your slip, everybody's having beers and barbecuing in the pits afterwards. And it's just it's a really, really cool community that we're building. And I'm glad to be part of it.
That's awesome.
I'm going to jump in here for a second. So you say it's a 10 race series. How long is your guys' race season? When does it start? When does it end? Do you run the NASCAR track in conjunction with the drag strip? Like, same day, same weekend, or like, do you alternate them? How does that work?
So we run from Mother's Day weekend to Labor Day, and then we have like the SCCA and the Sports Car Club come in before the season gets started and at the end, because we don't have trailers and stuff in the pits. And so they come out and use the facility. So we're kind of like April to October. We have 10 points days scheduled for the oval track, and I believe it's 10 for the drag strips. It varies. It depends on how the weekends line up. 10 to 12. Last year it rained. We got 5 in. It sucked. Yeah, that's not going to happen this year. But and then we've got some street nights. We're doing some drag and drift events this year, so we're going to try doing the drag racing and then drift on the oval track at the same time. And when I look over here, I'm like, my window faces the track, so it's kind of cool. Let's see, Mother's Day, Labor Day. I'm trying to remember all the rest of the questions. I started talking and then I forgot. And then we've got a bunch of test and tunes, and then we do a couple other fun events. Like we have a cash days race, so we race from the top end of the track towards the front of it. We have Thunder Valley Flag Drags, which is our fun event where we get to do, it's all retro rockabilly. So it's 75 and older vehicles. We do pinup contests and flag start the cars and stuff like that. So we've got a bunch of other special events, but it's a relatively short season, but very typical, I guess, of the northern states. Like I've got friends that have tracks in Wisconsin and stuff, and it's very similar. And we don't run the oval track and the drag strip at the same time currently, except for Speed Fest. Just because I don't have enough staff to do all of it all at once, but don't count it out yet.
Parker, pull that back up, or pull another one of those back up. I mean, a moment of silence.
That's a good one.
Unbelievable. Like that is, I used a little bit of AI on the show banner, but that is not AI. What an incredible view and facility. I mean, and that's as someone who comes from a place with big mountains, right? I can't imagine if you like grew up in Ohio, you're racing out there or something in the cornfields and you see something like that. It's got to be so foreign to those folks. But even for someone who grew up near the mountains, just takes your breath away. What a spectacular place that you call home.
I am very fortunate.
Unbelievable. What's the real elevation at ARP?
62 feet.
Oh man, she fast, Parker. She real fast.
And then you got 62,000 feet on top of that mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like 6 miles away. I mean, you can't actually run into it, but it looks like it when you're going down the track, like you're going to drive right to the base.
That's amazing. That's what's cool about some of the Northwest mountains, especially the coastal ranges, where the valley floor elevation is like 0 feet. So you get the full relief of the mountain. And, you know, where I grew up, we had 14,000 foot mountains, but the valley floor was at 7,000. So you only got to see like 7,000 foot of the mountain. In Alaska, you get to see the whole damn thing. And that's pretty impressive. 62 real elevation. I imagine there's plenty of days where you're racing at below sea level density altitude. Oh, baby,
yep.
We got to go.
You have to
go.
That's one place my stalker would love it.
Oh, baby, we're getting in the 9s up there. Easy.
I got something here. So in Vegas, you have jets flying over you because the Nellis Airport, or not Nellis. Yeah, Nellis Air Force Base is right there. And so you get some jets. Pomona, you got planes coming in and landing across at the airstrip across the street. But here, I would be distracted by how beautiful that mountain is. You catch me staging, then I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, look at that mountain!" Just like I love how each track has their thing, and at this track, it's definitely the scenery around it.
How often you gotta hold them for like a moose or a elk or something on the track?
We do have occasional pauses for moose down at the top end. So we have a lady who's down at the very top end, and she's kind of, you know, directing traffic and keeping an eye on things down there. But she also lets us know when there's usually we'll have a mama moose and a baby or two at some point during the season. We've had lynx. We have a fox that comes and hangs out when there's eagles that fly overhead. So we've had bear before. There's a variety of things that can show up at the Raceway. And then we've always got planes. There's always little planes flying overhead, and military bases not too far away. So we'll have, you know, the bigger Black Hawk helicopters and all sorts of stuff fly over.
That's pretty cool. You're on our podcast, but you're no stranger to this format of media. You have your own show called Track Talk that you do at least occasionally, I think fairly regularly. Yep. Tell us what Track Talk's all about.
So I do Track Talk on Tuesdays on the same platform. And that started seven years ago. My first D6 meeting, I went down for my first NHRA meeting. I got my first tech inspector certificate, a bronze level inspection. And I got back and I was like, it'd be kind of cool to get online and, just touch base and tell people what's going on. And so I started doing Track Talk, and every week, and that was in 2020. So it was really a good opportunity as the season progressed and, everything fell apart and then came back together to be able to get in contact with everybody. And so it's short little, probably 10 minutes most of the time, and just give people updates, let them know what they need to be working on. We've had some special guests. Kyle from 1320 was on when we announced that they were coming up. So I've had a few people on there. It's just a great way for me to communicate with everybody, and we save that on our YouTube and on Facebook so people can watch it later. But just to let people know what's going on, and the off season is very long, and so it's really hard for racetracks to stay connected with their customer base when we don't have racing going on.
Well, I don't know that it's as short as y'all might feel like it is up there. Even at Woodburn, I've had seasons where we don't really get started till June, and we're always done by the end of September, no matter how good the weather is in October.
Mm-hmm.
And so, an April to October, May to September season like you guys get, y'all ain't getting much less than we're getting down here. So any of you Alaska folk, don't hang your head too low. We don't get much more than y'all do. Parker, he gets a lot. He gets a lot more where he's at, but here it's pretty similar.
I will argue with that. So even though the off season's technically from like November to February, pretty short off season, we don't do a whole lot of racing in the summertime because it's too hot. So
see, it's perfect time for you to come to Alaska.
So I was actually showing my wife some of these pictures that you sent to us, right? And this year probably not going to happen because we're having a baby in July. But
congratulations!
Definitely on the radar. We're going to plan a trip where we go do some fishing, come up and race a couple cars. Maybe we can talk Troy and his family into coming. And if we're lucky, maybe we can talk one of the racers into letting us take a couple cars down the track.
We need some hot laps. We need you to connect us with the folks that are going to throw us the keys to the old Chevelle or whatever it is, the old Monte Carlo. We got to make some laps. Best of 5 at ARP with me and Parker. Look at that. Lee Zane, former world champ Lee Zane. He's coming too.
Perfect.
Let's have a party at ARP.
All right, Michelle, I have a proposal. How about we put together a rental car only weekend where all of us racers from the lower 48 or wherever you're from, we all just fly in, rent cars, and just have a street car race.
Perfect.
Look at how easy that was.
Yeah.
Do you know how much rental cars are in Alaska, Parker?
A lot.
The summertime?
But
they're expensive.
We could figure this out. If we're planning for next year, we can figure it out. You tell me how many cars you need, we'll get it put together. So
let's go.
We could just double enter or quadruple enter the same car over.
Yeah, we don't need. Not everybody needs their own car, but deep staging allowed, foot braking, some rental cars.
Perfect.
I'm in.
Well, I've got a Charger and a Camaro. I could let somebody drive. So.
Well, we're taking care of Park, and he's a Mopar guy, and I'm a Camaro guy.
Perfect.
So that's settled. We don't got to fight over those.
Okay.
Well, let's make this happen.
We got to get up there. So, go ahead, Park. Go ahead.
So you were talking about how, sorry, I just had a brain fart. You're talking about how you come down and go to like PRI and stuff, and you've done a lot of planning. What event this year are you most excited for coming up that you would like to share about?
Here at the track?
Yeah.
Is that where we're going with that? Okay. There's so many events, but the one that would be great for you guys to come up and participate in is Alaska Speed Week, which is our drag and drive event. We have unique challenges with drag and drives. I know they have the Redwood Rally that goes through and stops down there, which is on my bucket list for fall stuff. We're the only drag strip. And so when we decided in 2023 that we were going to do this, we ended up purchasing a remote timing system from Racing America. So it's all wireless. We can take it wherever we want and set it up. We go race on an abandoned airstrip in Toke, up in Tana Cross, which is rough, some old asphalt, but it's a lot of fun. And then last year we were able to connect with the city in Nenana, and we're racing on their airport. So we just about have the route finalized. We've got the week scheduled. It's June 8th through the 12th for 2026. We are doing it. We've got 7 drivers signed up already for this year. Those are local drivers. Some of them are new, some of them are returning drivers. But we're excited for that, and it's cool. It's about 1,000 miles and starts at Alaska Raceway Park, kind of makes a loop because Alaska only has really one highway. It goes up and makes a loop, and then it kind of goes down. But it's a good time. It's a great way to see Alaska and get to drive. I was telling you when you sent me the AI picture, the art picture or whatever, that we don't have lights here because it doesn't get dark in the summertime. And so we have no lights on the track at all. And so it's kind of cool to be able to come up here and drive all day and not really have it get dark.
Do you guys race at funky times because of that ever? Like, do you ever making laps at 2 a.m. or do you keep it pretty standard?
We have a noise curfew, so we're supposed to be done at 10. I'm
Noise
not going to say that doesn't ever have some messing around going on, but not at the track.
Right. You talk about the people, that race there, how passionate they are, since 1964, right? Is that what you said? 64. Yep. So I'm sure at this point, some legends, at ARP. Who are some of the kings and queens of ARP from over the years?
Well, we've had quite a few legends. We do have Tesla in Alaska. Anyhow, sorry. So actually today is Jimmy Moore's, the late Jimmy Moore's birthday. He was the big kahuna. He was a funny car racer here back in the 60s and 70s and was actually a legend on the West Coast, went down and raced down in Pomona, I believe. And so Jimmy Moore, the Moore family is definitely a legend family. The John Childs, who also recently passed away, he and his son Jay have been, and Jay's a fabricator. He builds, Jay Childs Race Cars builds a lot of the race cars and does machining and stuff for a lot of the engines out here. So the Childs family, Mighty Mike Mahaka is a legend. If you guys were down in let's see. He was at Phoenix at the other Firebird Raceway the other day with Bobby Gordon, and they were racing down there. So Mike is getting out and getting to race down in the States. The Nelson family, we've had Clarence LeMay was also big. We were featured in the 1960, I think it was 64-ish issue of Hot Rod magazine. And so they did a really cool little neat article on the track and all the guys that were here racing. So we've had some pretty amazing families. The Prakash family, Tony is still racing down. I think she's living down in Washington right now. I saw her at the D6 meeting a couple years ago, but it's kind of neat to see the families from here that go out and then go out and racing. And probably the most famous Alaskan racer right now is Ray Martin, who's down racing in the funny car class and pro mods and stuff down. And he's here most of the time, and then he's down in Arizona, and so he's all over. But if you see Ray, he's an Alaskan kid.
I didn't know that about Ray, but
yeah.
I follow Top Alcohol a little closer than Parker. I'm trying to bring him around, but definitely familiar with Ray. And I was actually just looking through, my dad was a big time racing fan and a photographer. And I was looking through old photos that go clear back into the mid 60s in one of his old photo albums that was passed down to me after he passed. And I was literally 2 days ago looking at pictures he took of the Big Kahuna funny car. So it's funny that you bring that up, because I was just looking at that and remembering as a kid seeing pictures of it, and I think I saw it in person a time or two. So I didn't realize though that it came from Alaska. So.
Yep. Yeah. And the Harris family was one of the big families here. And they're funny cars now. My brother is piloting one of them. He's got the Nitro funny car. So he just went 251, not last season, but the season before and that. And then John Maynard took over the other Glacier Shaker. And so he's running the alcohol funny car. So it's kind of neat to see those, even though their families are changing and things like that, to see those cars continue to be part of the landscape here.
Yeah, that's super awesome.
Michelle, is there more than one racetrack in Alaska, or are you the one and only?
We're the only drag strip, and we're the only high bank paved oval. So there are oval tracks in Kenai, Kodiak, Fairbanks, and Willow, and then there's a very small paved oval in North Pole, but they do mostly drifting on it now. And then there's like some dirt drags and stuff that they do in Delta, but we're the only drag strip.
So, are you familiar with the name George Mahalka or Mike Mahalka?
Mike Mahalka, yeah, Mighty Mike.
Yeah. So, I had the opportunity to watch him go some rounds down in Phoenix last weekend. So, pretty small world, I guess, up in Alaska of drag racers. So, he kicked butt. So, there's no lack of talent in Alaska, that's for sure.
No, he's good. And that picture that you showed with all the Chevelles and stuff on there, his car is in there. He actually started that race. So right here on the far right, that little like aqua Chevelle is Mike's, and he runs in Super Pro. He's been doing that for years. And then when we did flag drags, he set up the Chevelle Showdown. So this is all Chevelles and El Caminos that fit. And so that's his class. And then they make this super cool trophy, and it's just kind of neat.
That's awesome. What in your tenure so far, and maybe even if it happened before you were, had a leadership role, is there a favorite event or a moment from over the years that'll always stand out for you?
Oh my gosh, I've been doing this for a hot minute. There's so many. I guess there's so many. Probably one of my biggest moments last year was learning how to drive the tractor. Dad couldn't get on the tractor anymore last year, and so he turned over the reins, and I got to learn how to do track prep and take that over from him and kind of show him that I could do it before he passed in November. So that was probably one of my biggest pride moments, was being able to do that.
And is that him? That's him right there running the power scraper, right?
Yep, that's Dad.
Love it. And like, I love that. I love that the tractor's still got the big old knobbies on it.
Oh yeah,
just rocking gold dust out there, and it just fits, right? That's. I wouldn't expect any other thing at Alaska Raceway Park. If that was some big new fancy Kubota with slick tires, it just wouldn't fit. I love it. It's got the Johnny Popper on top too, on the pipe. I love it.
Someday I'd like to have one of those big tractors with the tire machines and all the rest of it, but we're not there yet.
When I was younger, I grew up in drag racing. So the flapper that you saw on top of the tractor, I thought that the drag racers invented those, and then the tractor guys copied them, not the other way around.
Oh, Parker.
So what does a typical drag race weekend look like for you? What categories? How many entries? What's the typical?
So we have approximately, depends on the weekend, holiday weekends are a little bit bigger, but we're usually at between 70 and 100 racers or so.
Wow.
We run super pro, sportsman, motorcycle snow machine class, trophy class, junior dragster. Last year we added NHRA junior street, so we had 4 kids competing in that. This year we're adding a separate EV class, so we'll have that class set up. And then on the big weekends we run our top eliminator class, and top eliminator is a 7.0 index class. And then depending on how far under the index goes, their individual index can get reset. So if they're running a 620 on a regular, they can get that set up. But that has dragsters, funny cars, pro mods, whatever. If you're fast, that's where you run. So it's more of an exhibition class, but we do have competition. So we have 3 rounds for that one, and it's all run. And they get 1 win point for every win that they get in that. But that way we can kind of put on a bigger show for everybody who comes out.
I want to see that. So you're racing, you might have a front engine slingshot dragster over here and a pro mod over here, and they're racing each other.
Yep.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
it.
we don't really have enough of any one particular thing to, like to make a top dragster class or anything like that. So we just run everybody together, and that way we can put on a show with all the fast cars for everybody who's in the stands.
That's super cool. I wish there was more of that. They just ran what I think they called it Top Comp down in Phoenix a couple weeks ago. So top dragster and top sportsman racing against each other. And one of the coolest things, I wish there was a lot more of that stuff.
This top eliminator just brings it to a whole nother level of coolness.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm for it, man. I think it should be a thing everywhere.
Before we get going, I want to show you this picture. And did you guys put like spike tires on to run this, or?
No, we don't send anything down there in the wintertime.
Man, so cold. Look at it. I mean, it.
Yeah.
That's as frozen as it gets right there. Man.
Yeah. It's a lot of ice.
Well, and I saw another picture. You guys just got a new tower, right? Making some improvements. Yep. So that's one thing that I love, right? You've got a fairly small customer base, but 100 entries. I mean, that's a solid turnout for any local track up here, especially in the Pacific Northwest, even down here. So that's pretty great. But I love that you're making investments, you're trying to improve, and you got a new tower. So was there something wrong with the old one? You just didn't have a good one? What's the story there? What led to the new tower? Because it looks nice.
So the old tower was built when they built the track in 1964 on trees. So it legit had 4 trees in the corners.
I love it.
It was sketchy. And I own the place now, so I'm like, you know what, this is a little like super unsafe, and electrical issues and all the things. So at the end of 2024, we decided, that was our 60th anniversary. We tore the tower down and then started rebuilding it, kind of making it a little bit bigger. Had a lot of racer involvement to get the construction put together. The bottom of it is brick, and then it's the same 3 stories. We had a little run-in with the state fire marshal like 2 weeks before the track was supposed to open up last year, and had to make a few major revisions to it. And so one of those things that they wanted us to do, because it is a 3-story commercial building, even though we only use it 20 days a year or whatever, we had to build and fabricate a solid steel staircase. So it's just like if you went to your local university or anything, hospitals, whatever. So we had to build a solid steel staircase. So our sponsors, JD Steel, does amazing fabrication. They got to work on it. They got it designed. We got it approved. We had all this stuff, but that takes a little bit of time. And so, and we had race season to do. So we got the timing system run through the building so that we could operate it. And our buddies over at Airport Equipment Rentals got me a scissor lift, and I spent the summer being a scissor lift operator so that I could get up to the top of the tower and run the timing system. I couldn't have employees up there because we didn't have stairs, and apparently OSHA doesn't like that. So I got to be in charge of all of the stuff from upstairs last year. And that was cool. I was glad that we were able to do it. It was, kind of a pivot for our staff. We had to figure out how that was going to work, and a little bit of a change for racers because they're used to seeing me on the grounds. And it was kind of weird. Like, I spent the entire summer, and there's some people that I, was with all summer because they were here, but I never actually got to see them or talk to them because they would come in after I was in the tower and leave before, and so I there's a lot of people I just didn't see last summer. And so I'm really looking forward to this summer because our stairs arrived right before Labor Day last year. And so now I can have staff up there, and I can get out of the tower on race day.
Well, yeah, and racers, stop by and see Michelle in the tower. Go say hi, bring her a coffee or something.
Yeah, lots of coffee.
So the surface, there you are coming back up the return road, it looks like.
Yeah.
God, the return road. That's the whole place. I got to go there. And I got to come hang out for like 2 weeks, though. Because a single weekend's not going to cut it. So I got to figure this out. But tell us about the surface, right? You race quarter mile. All asphalt? Do you have concrete for a certain distance, or what's the surface like?
Such a good picture too. So the first 300 feet is concrete. Originally we redid the track in 2000 and resurfaced it all, and so we put in heated launch pads. It was great in theory. It didn't really work the way that we had intended it to, but so we've kind of abandoned the heated part of it. But we do have concrete launch pads. And then the rest of it is asphalt. So it's a quarter mile track, a quarter mile shutdown. We have a little bit after that, just in case. And then if you go too far, you're going to go into the trees. But usually everybody is shut down by then. There's 3 turnouts down at the return road. And then, we just put in new solid pour concrete walls in 2022. And a brand new porta tree timing system with the biggest scoreboards I could get, because I figured if we were going to do it, I didn't want to mess around and have to do it twice. So we just got the biggest we could get and put that up. So been making a lot of upgrades to the track as we go. The tower, obviously needed to be replaced, and we'll just continue making it better for everybody as we go.
Nobody wants to wind up in the trees. Certainly not me. But if that was the last thing I saw, if that view right there, if it was the last thing I saw, I wouldn't have much to complain about.
Can't go to heaven if you're already there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, if people said one thing about you when this run is finished, what do you hope it would be?
Oh my gosh.
Put you on the spot right there, huh?
That is so on the spot. Gosh, you totally stumped me.
We can come back to this one if you want.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just hope that people remember how much I loved what it is that I do here, and how much I love motorsports and making this happen. This has definitely not been the easiest job that I've had in my life. It's had a lot of ups and downs, and you guys have raced for a long time, so it's you have there's a lot of personalities, a lot of relationships, a lot of everything in here, and so I have had the gamut, and there's a lot of heartbreak. We have drag racing is not a young man's sport per se. I'm trying to get more people into it, but there's a lot of people that have been big parts of my life that are no longer with us, and my dad included. So this race season, we're gonna dedicate it to him. And he told me when he got up to heaven, he was going to put in a good word for us and make sure we got some sunshine. So we shouldn't have as many rainouts this year, but it's just, I just hope that people remember how much I love this place.
See, that was the perfect answer. That was the perfect answer. So this season you got Speed Week that's coming up. You know, you've got your points series, which I want to get to in just a second,
Okay.
with some recent news. But you know, what's on deck this season as far as major events, and what are some of the things that you guys are working on long term?
So Speed Week is definitely a major event. That's June 8th through the 12th. We're going to finish that with Speed Fest, which we started Speed Fest last year. So that's drifting, oval track racing, a car show, roll racing, drag racing, and just everything all at once, because we wanted to kind of highlight everything that we could do out here, so that hopefully, you know, new people are coming in, they go, oh, you know, this is cool, and hey, I could do drifting, or hey, I could drag race, or my kids could race, or whatever, and just kind of expose this whole new generation to what we've got going on. We've got flag drags the end of June. We're working on something for 4th of July, but that's under the wraps right now, so you have to bear with me on that. And just trying to make this season amazing for this year, and kind of recoup from the tower fiasco from last year. And then I'm working on something for 2027. Should be kind of a bigger event, so we'll see. We'll see where that ends up, but I'll let you guys know about that once we get closer.
Yeah, please do. We got some planning to do, Parker and I, to figure it out, because we're coming. We're gonna come spend a week or something and hang out up there. So about the points, right? You run Summit ET Series up there. You got folks that race for track championships. You know, depending on where the ET finals are that year, I know that some of them, a handful of them here and there, sometimes make it to the team finals or the race to champions. Big news coming out of D6 and across the NHRA landscape with the now 2 opportunities at ET finals. First reaction to that, and do you think do you think there's going to be more folks that might make the journey to Edmonton or something like that from Alaska?
Possibly. I think any opportunity that we get to go out of state is a good one. We have raced in Edmonton before. And it's quite a hike for us from here, but you saw Mike down in Phoenix, and we have people that go out and race out of state all the time. So I don't think it's out of line to think that we would have somebody head out and do that. The ET bracket finals are really hard for us because it's our final weekend of the season. And so if somebody is in the running for the points here and they leave to go do that, then they would basically forfeit their points championship here. So that's always a challenge. But I think, you could see some more of our racers getting out and driving out of state.
It's so far to get there. I've punched in the route into my Google, I don't know how many times, 1,000,000 times, and I'm like, holy God, it's so far. But I imagine like that distance to ET finals and the fact that for the most part, a lot of people aren't going to be able to make that trip, right? Even if it's in Mission, right? That's the closest it could possibly be, probably, and that's still super far. I imagine that elevates the track championship, right? Like winning a track championship there has got to be pretty special for folks if they're able to do that.
I think it is, and especially this year because we'll have those beautiful 75th anniversary NHRA trophies with the sparklies on them. Like, I saw those at the D6 meeting, and I was like, man, I want to race just so I can win one. But it's pretty special to do it, and it's amazing. Even like the season that I ran the championship, I was leading in points, for most of the season. And then you get down to the last kind of couple races, and it's amazing how tight those races get. And we were like one round away from whether I was going to win or not win, and so it's always a great honor, I think, for people to do that. And our drivers, we give them a jacket, a championship jacket, and they get their big NHRA trophy. And, we just try to celebrate that as much as possible, because it's kind of a big deal, and people don't want to give that up. But I would love to be able to go down and go to the bracket finals sometime and be there and have a team.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool atmosphere, and I, again, the logistics of it for you guys, I think we all understand. But if a big squad from Alaska came rolling in one of these years, I think we'd all be pretty stoked for it.
Yeah, we'll just load up a huge trailer.
my man Matt Clark joining us from down under. It is easier than flying to Australia, Matt, but just barely. Matt Clark checking in, top sportsman racer out of the Upside Down, and a good friend of ours. Parker, what else you got?
I have a lot of friends asking when we're going to Alaska. So we need to know where we can find the schedule and the social medias that we can follow you and all these beautiful photos of your racetrack.
So our schedule is on our website, raceak.com. We'll have tickets up in the next week, because that's on my never-ending to-do list, is to get all that stuff lined up, so that those will be available as well. You can follow us on Facebook at Alaska Raceway and on Instagram. I am Lady Track Boss on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube now. I just started a YouTube channel, so I'm trying to figure that all out. But there's all the things. So and I think I got an intern. I'm excited.
Oh, nice.
She's a drag racer too, so I'm excited about that. But I think Macy's was talking about maybe starting us a little TikTok too. So look for more stuff coming soon.
Awesome. Hey, that dragster you were in, I saw 2 parachutes on the back. Is that a super comp car, top dragster kind of car? What kind of hot rod are you wheeling out there?
That's a top dragster car. So I got that up to 191. I was trying to get to 200 because we have a 200 mile an hour club. And then I was hoping, we had a long-standing, like the fastest woman in Alaska was actually a lady out of Canada that had been here in an old nostalgia funny car. And so she had the record, and it was like 194. And I was like, man, it'd be cool to hit the 200 mile an hour club. And then also, I could be the fastest woman in Alaska, and probably the fastest track owner, because I don't know how many, I'm going to be self-proclaimed fastest track owner, right? Fastest female track owner. And we didn't quite get there. And then my friend Maddie, who does my lashes in the summertime, she came out, and she had a brand new to her dragster, and she came out and dropped like a 212, and I was like, oh, all right, fine.
So, but now the fastest woman in Alaska is from Alaska.
Yeah. Maddie Turnbull is the fastest woman in Alaska. She's an amazing driver. She came up from junior dragster ranks, and then they had the Dragon Slayer. So she was running, that was a Pro ET car, and then switched up, and now she's running Top Eliminator. And she's in the Lash Out, which is kind of cool. And you'll see her picture on a lot of stuff too. But nice. So it's still on my bucket list. I'll still get there one of these days.
Yeah. We're coming up on that 1 hour mark, Michelle, and just want to, say thanks again for taking some time. This has been a really fun discussion, learning a lot about what it means to be a racer up there, your perspective as a track owner, and learning about the culture. Is there anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank? Any final last words you want to get out there? I know you've probably got some folks from back home watching you right now, so if you got anybody you want to thank, or anything in particular you want to get out there, want to give you the floor for a minute.
I just, really want to thank our community. We have, I call it our refs. Those are the people that I'm responsible to, the racers, our employees, our fans and sponsors, that those people believe in me enough to make this happen. And that goes so very far. Definitely appreciative of my family who tolerates me traveling to PRI and to all of the events that I go to. because the only way that I'm going to make this better is if I can go out of state and I can learn from, the new family and from Sherry and Joey and, from people out of here, out of state that have been doing this, because I'm the only one. And so the more I travel, I'm such a nerd. I go to sick, and I'll go watch Sick Week. And so I'm at, South Georgia Motorsports Park, and I'm like taking pictures of the way they've got their signage and trash cans and, nerdy track operator things. But, everything that we can, the stuff that we can bring back here to kind of elevate the experience for everybody. I am just so appreciative of everybody who supports us, and thank you guys so much for allowing me the stage to tell everybody about Alaska, and hopefully get some people to come up and visit and race and participate in Speed Week or our car rental tournament.
Yeah, let's do, well, and like so many people, right? They'll load up and go to. People are always Parker and I joke about it all the time, because people will tell us Northwesterners like, just come on down to Tucson, and from where I'm at in Central Oregon, even it's 14 hours to Vegas, and then it's 9 more hours to Tucson. Like, it's ridiculous. But still, people do that. They'll truck all the way down there. They'll go to Vegas. They'll go all the way out to St. Louis for the OG Million or something like that. Next time, guys, when you're thinking about the racecation, why not Alaska? Take it up to Alaska. Take it up to Palmer at ARP and have a good time. I know we're going to make an effort to do it. And I love what you were closing up with there, because, taking a picture of how they had the signage, where they put the trash cans, those little things, like without knowing you really very well at all, or knowing the track, like knowing that those types of details you're focusing on, like as a racer, when you show up to a facility, those things matter so much. And those are the little things. Most people have pretty decent bathrooms. Most people have pretty decent concessions or decent speakers, et cetera, right? It's those little tiny things on how they organize the parking, how close was the nearest trash can to your pit. Those little things are the things that either make you super stoked on the weekend or really irk you for 3 days straight. So I appreciate that focus and attention to detail. And if you keep that up, I have no doubt that you'll continue to be a success up there.
Thank you.
Michelle, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's keep in touch. Good luck this season. Parker, did you have any final words you wanted to give to Michelle?
No, other than just keep us updated on your winners, your champions, and we'll be sure to shout them out on this show.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michelle.
Awesome.
Thank you
so much.
Much.
Thanks, guys.
We'll
keep in touch. Thanks so much.
How about that?
The lady track boss, man, in the house.
I'm already excited for the 2027 schedule to come out for ARP so that we can get our flights booked.
Well, I'm pretty booked up this summer with announcing, but I don't know if I can wait that long, buddy. I might just have to sneak up there at least once. Like I said, I think I'd need like a whole week, but I also I could see myself sneaking up there for a quick 2-nighter and just checking it out on a race weekend. So we'll see. I don't know if I could wait, man, but that was super cool. Like I said, I think a bucket list track for anybody, right? People usually bring up Bristol, Indy, or ARP, and depending on how far west you are, I know a lot of West Coasters. That's on the top of their list, man. So,
well, before you started mentioning it to me, I had no clue about ARP, but now that it's out there,
shame on you.
It's hard to not be thinking about it on my schedule.
Parker, don't forget, you're on provisional status right now. You were kicked off the podcast a week ago. I've allowed you back on a provisional status, and you're walking on thin ice, buddy.
Thinner than this?
I think so. Probably much thinner than that, judging by the photos.
That's pretty thick ice.
Probably much thinner than that, but no, super cool, man. And that was a cool, cool conversation. And like I said, I have a million other questions about that place, and definitely going to continue to stay in touch with Michelle. But glad we finally did that one. Been on our list for a while.
Absolutely.
Hey, who was this episode brought to us by today, Parker?
This episode today was brought to you by the Summer Showdown.
It was, and dialed in details.
And details.
If you're looking for something to keep your hot rod looking clean, you're looking for something to keep your RV looking fresh, look no further than dialed in details. Racer owned, for racers, by racers. You got Chris Whitfield out here on the West Coast, and not the West Coast, but he's on the western half of the United States. We claim him still. We'll see where he winds up eventually, but we still claim him out here. He started an amazing company with Dialed In Details. They have a full product line of really amazing detail products. He's partnered with Renault Finishes to create a wheel polishing line. That stuff's amazing. I've watched some of the videos of that stuff. Gary Don from Drag Champs used it. A couple sprays and a quick wipe, and the wheels are looking brand new. So if you need stuff to keep your hot rod or your personal car looking fresh, or your RV, check out Dialed In Details, and I get you some stuff. If you want to make an order, your boy right here is a dealer. So hit me up. I could probably get you a little bit better shipping deals. So let me know, and we'll get you set up with Dialed In products.
Well, now that I know that you're a dealer, we're definitely going to have to be placing some orders because we got quite the fleet, and
Yeah,
we're
buddy.
low on the spray.
Yeah, let me know. Check out the website. Check out the stuff. I use the Quick Detailer a ton. It works on glass too, and it doesn't streak like a lot of other cleaners might. So the glass cleaner is great, but in a pinch, you don't need it. You can use the Quick Detailer on everything. It's really good stuff, and it smells delicious. So that's one thing I like using it, because it smells real tasty. And it'll pick you up some time, man. When you're done, the rag will just slide right down the hood and onto the ground. It waxes her up real nice.
Next thing you know, Troy's drinking the stuff.
Oh, dude, well, it's funny because I used to use Meguiar's. Meguiar's has a waterless car wash and wax, and it smells incredible too. And when Chris first was starting the company, I was talking to him, and he's sent me some, and I'm like, I'll let you know how it is, man. But it's got to smell good, because the Meguiar stuff smells so good, that it'll be hard for me to switch. And it smells just as good as the Meguiar stuff, and it's somebody I know. I don't, Matt. I do not. I'm still an Old Spice guy,
It is a good idea, though.
And I'm not a stinky guy anyway. Like I'll let you all in a little secret, Maddie. I typically don't even put deodorant on. But I don't got stinky sweat, man. I'm fresh. I'm fresh, baby.
One of my favorite products from Dialed In Details is their degreaser. So you probably aren't familiar, but dragsters get pretty darn nasty, especially around the rear end and transmission area. And if you're anything like me and don't have one of the polished or powder coated transmissions, it's got like the cast look to it. That stuff gets nasty, and that degreaser stuff makes it look like it's brand new.
It works solid. And you're right. I don't know anything about dragsters other than they're not quite as cool as door cars.
That is true, but you're trying to get in mine or my wife.
I thought you sent me the hoodie, and I thought I thought that meant I was on the team. I thought that's what it finally meant. Was I thought that was like my my pre-race driving suit. So yeah, that's okay. Another time. I'll just go drive Michelle's Camaro. Like I've known you all this time and still can't get in one of your hot rods. I meet Michelle once, and I'm driving Camaros at ARP. So I don't need you. I don't need you.
She didn't send you swag though.
She didn't send me swag yet.
Yet.
We'll get there. We'll get there a little at a time. So
that pretty much wraps us up for tonight. We'll be back next week. Not sure who or what, but we will be back nonetheless. Look
at that. Michelle's in the chat right now asking for the addresses, Holmes. I think we got swag coming our way.
That's it. I'm kicked off the podcast.
We're gonna end the live, and we'll chat with you just to close it out, Michelle. But again, thanks everybody for watching. This was, I don't know, episode whatever it is of the most handsome podcast in all of drag racing, the Bracket Breakdown. And we'll see you next week.
One last thing. We are on Apple Podcast, we are on Spotify, and we are on YouTube. So if you did not get to catch the full show, hear all of Michelle's cool insights, you can finish it or go back and watch again.
he also streams it to his Facebook page, which last month had almost 500,000 views. So, to anybody else out there, if you were thinking about sponsoring or being the presenting sponsor of the Bracket Breakdown, my man Park puts up 400,000 views a month on his Facebook page. So I'm just saying, we got the eyeballs thanks to my man Park on his Facebook page. So it was good to spend some time with you, buddy. Fresh lineups looking good. Always good to connect, and we'll see you on here next week.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
Peace.
Later.